Hello and welcome to today's lesson of 3D drawing for your model railway. In today's lesson we're looking to draw this Portakabin. I'm going to use a scale plan to draw from, and we'll see how we can make this look towards the end. Obviously there's many different designs for these cabins. You can just start it from any picture you've got, any scale plans you can find on the internet. Like an idiot, I forgot to set the microphone up when I recorded this and realised I recorded the whole video without any mic. So I'm going to be doing a voiceover from the future into this. So let's get started. So as you can see, I start by importing the canvas. I find it in the folder that we're looking for and select it to sit on this plane here. Okay, so now we're going to calibrate the canvas. So come into this folder, we can select 2 points on the canvas. We go from this X here across to that one there. You can see it's supposed to be 3000 millimeters in real life. What you can actually do is use Fusion can do basic sums for you. So if you do 3000 divided by the scale that you're using, so 1 to 148, and then you'll see that it'll automatically resize and calibrate this to the correct scale for us. Okay, so once we've got this set up where we want it, we'll create a sketch on this front plane here. We'll use a 2-point rectangle. Going to zoom right into the corners, and then we're going to drag that from one corner all the way across to the other side here. And it's 3600 millimeters wide, so we're going to extrude that. The sums work out at end gauge 1 to 148 about 24.3 millimeters. So we'll just extrude that across to the correct width. And what we're looking at is the scale plan here. We have 2 windows on the plan at the front and a door reasonably centered. At the back there's 2 aircon units, and I would imagine these are 2 vents going out the back. There's no windows on the side, but obviously if the picture you're looking at has windows, you can add them as you wish. Okay, so we're going to shell out the inside of the Portakabin. So we're going to give it a wall thickness here, and we go for 1.2 millimeters, just a bit of rigidity. One thing that might be worth doing to make printing more stable is put support wall in the middle here. If you find you suffer with it bowing outwards, just put a wall across that inside. So we'll go back onto this front plane, create a sketch here. So I'm going to draw the front window here. I'm going to zoom right in, I'm going to select the center of the 2 rectangles. I'm going to drag that across. And we're then going to extrude that through to the inside face here. And the next thing we'll do is we're going to create another sketch on this front to create a window frame, and we're going to use the offset tool to create this. So find that rectangle, going to look for about 0.3 I think to create the frame, and then we're going to extrude that frame forwards as well. So if we bring that out, I think I'll go to 0.3 here, I'll just bring that forwards, and then we'll put the center part of the frame in here as well. So we'll create a sketch off of the front of the frame, and that's it. So select 2 points, going down to the bottom edge and make sure it snaps in, and that's the wrong measurement I put in there, so we'll escape that, try again, and we'll do it all over again. Start to get a bit muddled there with the tab button and the escape button. We'll try again, so 0.5 on the width, and we go all the way down to full length here, snap into the bottom. I'm going to lock that in place using the dimension tools. I'm going to use the midpoint constraint at the top here. So if we select the midpoint of the small rectangle and the midpoint of the large one at the top here, you'll see they'll automatically snap to the center point. Define the height so the bottom edge is defined, and then we can extrude this back into the window frame. Going to go 0.6 millimeters, and then we'll click on OK here. Okay, so we've got the window done. So the next thing we're going to do is pattern this across. So use a rectangular pattern. We're going to select all these features. We're holding down the shift buttons, we select these, and we're going to set the direction to go sideways across the bottom, and drag it across, change it down to just 2 instances, and we're going to line it up with the window on this sketch here. Okay, just going to narrow that down to 45, and then we'll click on OK. Okay, so we've got 2 windows next. Turn the Portakabin canvas off so you can see what we've got. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to create another sketch on this front plane, and we're going to do the doorway. So we'll create a rectangle, and we'll draw it from the bottom corner of the door to the top corner. And then we're going to use the offset tool here to create the door frame on the outside. And as you notice, I haven't unchecked the chain selection, so it's given us the bottom edge again, so we'll redo that. Make sure that chain selection is turned off. We'll select the 3 sides that we want to put the frame around, and we're going to move it to the outside by sticking a minus in there, and then change that to 0.3 millimeters or thereabouts. Okay, and then you see I can't extrude this, is trying to do the whole face, so we've got to draw a line across the bottom just to close that surface in, and then we can select that center part there, and then we can extrude that by 0.3 millimeters again. Gives us that relief that we're looking for here. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we'll draw the door handle on here. So again, we'll create a sketch on this front plane. Little rectangle here. We're just looking here to create a bit of relief to the door, so that once you've modelled it and printed it, you've got something that looks like a door rather than just a flat surface. So we'll define the distances here, 0.2 millimeters, and drag it to the bottom edge. And then we'll define the size of that rectangle just to make sure that's fully defined as well. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is extrude that forwards. And we'll just come forwards 0.2 millimeters. Create another sketch, drawing a horizontal rectangle now, just so that we've got the handle shape. And then we'll define all the sides and its position relative to other parts on the door. And then what we're going to do is we're going to extrude these parts as well. So we extrude into the door, tell it to join, and we're also going to do a 2-sided extrusion. So we'll select the other side, and then we'll drag that out slightly just to give us a bit of forward relief off of that lock-in plate there. Okay, so once we've got that, that's good. Obviously, if you're going to go do 00 models, you'd want to do a bit more detail than this, but in Engage, you're not going to notice that. We're looking at, I think there was 0.6 millimeters in total there. You know, there's nothing in Engage, you're not going to even notice it. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw this kick plate that goes around the bottom edge here. So rather than drawing on all 4 sides, we're just going to come down to the bottom, create a sketch on the bottom surface, and then use the offset tool make sure the chain selection is turned on, so do all four sides. Select 0.3mm, which was the width of the door frame, and then we're going to extrude that. I'm going to be looking to extrude to the bottom of the door frame there, and then it snaps in. We'll do this, going to do the same there on the top surface. So I'm going to rotate up onto the top, create a sketch here. Again, you're going to use that offset tool, selecting that edge there. Let's change it to 0.3 again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find out the exact height that we did the bottom kickboard, and then we can copy it into the top one. So if we go down here, select that button, and in the bottom corner you can see it's 1.218. So again, we'll extrude this top one, and then we're going to come and extrude it downwards by that minus 1.218. So the top and bottom are both the same height there. Okay, the next thing I'm doing is going to draw this little light on the front here. So we'll start off creating a rectangle, like that. And then we're going to use the fillet tool to round off the corners, holding shift as we click on all four corners here. And then we're going to adjust the sides in so that they curves in nicely, matching that plan. So do that, and then we'll define its position there. So come out of the sketch, we're going to go back into the sketch there. And then we'll define the sides here and the top. Make sure we fully define it with the rest of the sketch. Get that measurement level. And then we'll extrude this forwards. There we go. That's 1mm forwards. Then what we'll do is we're going to fillet the top edge just to make it a bit more rounded. And you can see that I end up going for 0.3mm there. So we've got that light there. Okay, so the next thing we're looking at is the support battenings that go down the sides. So we'll start by creating a sketch on the front face. I'm just going to use a rectangle tool. I'll snap it into the corner there. Drag it to the bottom surface. I'll define the width as 0.5mm. And then we'll extrude that. I don't want it to come as far forward as this front face here. So I'm only going to extrude it, I think 0.2mm I come forwards. And then we're going to use the pattern tool to create it all the way across the model here. So we're going to go and select the rectangular pattern, make sure it's set on features, select that feature which was drawn, the direction along the bottom. We only want the one of them because they're uneven space, we just want the one. I'm going to put them in position on the sketch here. And we do that pattern for each one of these features that we've got here. And with this last one, we're going to, rather than just dragging it across and just trying to work it out, what way you can end up doing is you'll see that I'll turn the model around slightly here, and then I'll tell it to snap to that face, and it will automatically put the edge of it on that surface there. Okay, so we've got this side all drawn up there. The next thing we're going to do is transfer it across to the other side. So I'm going to go into construction plane, set a mid plane. And with mid planes, essentially you're going to put a plane that's halfway between two faces. So if we select the front face, and then that back face that's directly opposite, that mid plane then goes directly down the middle there. So then what we can do is when we rotate it back round, select mirror and select the features that we've just drawn. So click them down the bottom here, holding shift as you click them. Select the mirror plane. I'm going to select that mirror plane there, select OK. And as I spin around here, you can see that I've now got all of those ribs down that back face there. Turn that plane off so that it's not going to be in our way, and create a sketch on the back here. We're going to draw the air conditioning units on here. Just looking for simple rectangles in Engage. You're not looking for perfection. If you want to go into 00 HO gauge and you look for that little bit more detail, and yeah, by all means take a bit more time on what it looks like. But in Engage, we're looking, as you see, an object here 3mm by 6mm. Any detail you're going to put on there is going to be tiny. Okay, so extruding that out. I think I'll go for 3mm in the end here. And then we're going to use the pattern tool again. Make sure we select the feature and the direction. Just want the two of them, again dragging it across. Okay, so to see whether it's close, I'm just going to check using the inspection tool. As you notice, I'll select the wrong edge, so it's giving me a diagonal measurement rather than a straight one. Okay, look at that measurement, 7.078, so it's going to move it back slightly, go back into the sketch history, edit the feature, and then I'm just going to edit that, bring it back down to 59.5. Again, you're not going to notice anything different there, but that gives us relatively centered, symmetrical. It looks okay there, so happy with that. Again, you could use the midpoint plane tool to mirror that across if you wanted to. So the next thing we're looking at is the two vents that are going on the back, and I'm going to put them either side of these two center pillars here. So we'll create a sketch on that surface using that center point circle. I'm going to go draw a circle 1.5mm, and then we'll define its height. And its position relative to that post next to it. And as we're just looking at a vent type thing, we're just going to extrude that forward slightly. It's going to come forward 1mm to give that relief that we're looking for, and then we'll just draw the same over on the other side. Making sure those measurements are the same, and again extruding it forwards about 1mm. Okay, so there you go, you've got a basic Portakabin type shape there. If you want to add more detail, put windows maybe on either side, change the air conditioning units for windows. Maybe you want to put a door on the other side or a window on the face here. If you look at pictures on the internet, there's loads of different shapes and sizes of these type constructions. But that'll give you a decent looking Portakabin for your layout. So I hope you've enjoyed watching today's lesson. Obviously we used that mid-plane tool there is the new one today. If you've got any comments, please by all means comment below. Otherwise, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content. I'm going to keep putting up more videos